Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. In 2004, the world was changing faster than ever. Social media platforms were beginning to gain traction, the US was in the midst of significant global political involvement, and technology was weaving itself into every aspect of daily life. Amid this rapidly evolving landscape, most Americans barely noticed the continuation of something old, familiar, and seemingly insignificant, the humble 1-cent coin, specifically the 2004 Lincoln penny. Yet for numismatists, collectors, and sharp-eyed enthusiasts, this small copper-plated zinc coin offered a portal into a deeper world, a realm where history, precision, rarity, and value all intersected on a canvas barely larger than a thumbnail. The 2004 Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, was part of a series that had been ongoing since 1909. Its obverse featured the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, a design by Victor David Brenner that had remained virtually unchanged for nearly a century. It was a tribute not just to Lincoln himself but also to the enduring legacy of American ideals. In 2004, Brenner's initials, VDB, were still visible at the bottom of Lincoln's shoulder, a subtle but essential nod to history that only dedicated collectors often noticed. On the reverse stood the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Though millions handled the coin each day, few truly appreciated the intricate detail visible in the tiny image, including the seated statue of Lincoln nestled between the memorial's columns. For many, it was just a penny. But for those who looked closer, it was a miniature masterpiece. The Denver Mint produced over 3.4 billion of these coins in 2004, a staggering number that might lead anyone to believe the coin was anything but rare. And in circulated condition, that was true. But within this massive production run were anomalies, errors, and exceptionally well-struck examples that elevated some 2004 pennies to legendary status. Die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, and BIE errors, a die break between the B and E of Liberty, became sought-after variations. Each offered a unique fingerprint, a moment frozen during the high-speed chaos of coin production. Collectors found joy in the hunt. In coin rolls, in pocket change, at estate sales and flea markets, anywhere pennies turned up, someone was looking closely for the 2004 Lincoln that stood out. And occasionally, they struck gold, metaphorically speaking. One collector in Arizona stumbled upon a 2004 penny with a dramatic off-center strike, nearly 50% misaligned. The coin sold online for over $200, a small fortune for a single cent. Another hobbyist found a double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile appeared shadowed by a faint double image, an error that sparked a minor frenzy in online coin communities. Then there were the high-grade examples. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth hundreds, or even thousands, could lie in condition alone. Coins graded MS-68 or above were exceedingly rare due to the brutal handling of pennies during minting, counting, and transport. Those few that escaped the process unscathed became crown jewels for registry-set collectors. One 2004 Lincoln penny graded MS-69 RD by PCGS stunned the community when it fetched over $1,500 at auction, a massive sum for such a modern issue, but it wasn't just about errors or condition. For many, the 2004 penny symbolized the end of an era. Just 5 years later, the Lincoln Memorial reverse would be retired, replaced by a rotating series of designs commemorating Lincoln's life in 2009. Collectors saw the 2004 issues as some of the last of a legacy, minted during a time of global transition and domestic reflection. Owning a pristine 2004 Lincoln penny wasn't just about rarity, it was about holding a piece of a story, a physical marker of a country on the brink of another transformation. As with all coins, context is everything. The 2004 penny might not turn every pocket into a treasure chest, but for the trained eye, it could offer surprise, delight, and even financial reward. Every coin was a canvas of history. Every blemish, a chapter. Every perfect strike, a miracle. And the 2004 with its massive mintage but narrow funnel of true gems, stood as a modern metaphor for overlooked value. In the end, the 2004 Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a quiet challenge. It dares you to look closer, to care more deeply, and to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. And if you do, you just might find something worth far more than a cent. In the following years, more attention began to surface around the small percentage of 2004 Lincoln cents that had been perfectly preserved in original mint sets. Coin dealers began purchasing entire bags and rolls from government-issued mint packaging, hoping to uncover flawless specimens. It became somewhat of a modern-day gold rush, not for the metal itself, but for the perfection hidden among billions of coins. One particularly fascinating case emerged from a collector in Ohio who had stored mint sets from each year for his children since they were born. His 2004 penny, stored untouched for nearly 2 decades, was discovered by his grandson in 2023. The coin was immaculate, deep red luster, sharp strike, and virtually no contact marks. Upon grading, it returned MS69RD and sparked a bidding war at a regional coin convention. The final price reached $1,950, an astonishing sum that highlighted the incredible value tied to patience, preservation, and timing. The digital age added fuel to this growing fire. With the rise of online forums, Facebook groups, YouTube channels, and TikTok coin collectors, the 2004 penny found new fame. Videos showcasing pennies that can make you rich often featured this unassuming coin, highlighting what to look for and how to check for errors. Collectors who had long held their 2004 pennies began to reassess their collections, flipping coins under bright lights and magnifying glasses, hoping for that tiny variation that could mean a big payday. But not all value lies in dollars. Some collectors keep the 2004 penny simply because it reminds them of simpler times, of piggy banks, pocket change, and family coin hunts at the kitchen table. A symbol of continuity in an ever-shifting world. A quiet testament to the idea that even the smallest things can carry weight, meaning, and potential, and so the legend of the 2004 USA 1-cent coin continues to grow. From dusty drawers to high-end auction blocks, from the casual collector to the die-hard numismatist, the coin offers a story that spans generations. A story still unfolding, 1 cent at a time. Today, dealers and collectors alike are compiling in-depth guides on where to locate these high-value coins, advising the public to pay closer attention to pocket change, especially older bank rolls and coin jars that haven't been sifted in years. A YouTuber in Texas went viral after discovering a near-perfect 2004 penny during a live coin roll hunt, showcasing the live reveal and grading submission process. The video not only garnered millions of views but also reignited a fresh wave of interest in early 2000s pennies. Meanwhile, numismatic expos across the country have started hosting specific Lincoln cent exhibits, drawing attention to unique varieties and underappreciated years like 2004. Panels discuss everything from the evolution of die-ware to minting inconsistencies and how even the most common coin can be transformed by time, handling, and preservation. Children now show up with their own books of pennies, inspired by online content and family stories, eager to find their own treasure. What was once dismissed as small change now echoes loudly across collector communities. The 2004 penny is not just metal and design, it's discovery, it's potential, it's the hidden excitement tucked into the seams of the everyday. The more we explore it, the more we uncover, not just about the coin, but about ourselves, our history, and our sense of wonder, and in that tiny copper disc, we find a spark. A reason to keep searching. Because sometimes, fortune really does favor the curious. Auction houses have begun tracking spikes in interest for modern-era pennies with clean strike and rare error characteristics. The 2004 issue, despite its seemingly high mintage, now commands its own special category on several bidding platforms. Collectors are documenting provenance, tracing a coin's journey from discovery to authentication to bidding floor. In one recent auction in New York, a 2004 penny with a rotated die error and a vibrant red-brown luster fetched nearly $3,200, shattering previous records and validating years of quiet confidence held by Lincoln cent enthusiasts. The community continues to expand. Podcasts dedicated to American coinage now regularly discuss the nuances of the 2004 penny. Instagram influencers post close-up macro shots of their latest finds, inviting discussion on grading margins and die stages. One collector even launched an app dedicated to identifying rare pennies, which now includes a whole section on 2004D varieties and values. Perhaps most inspiring are the stories from those who found a rare 2004D coin entirely by chance. A single mother from Missouri discovered one while counting change at her night shift convenience store. Upon posting it to a coin group, she was guided through the grading process and ultimately auctioned it for enough to pay off lingering debts. Stories like these elevate the coin beyond monetary value. They become a symbol of hope, curiosity, and possibility hiding in plain sight, and that's the magic of the 2004D Lincoln penny. It is not merely a cent, it is a story that continues to unfold, growing richer with each new discovery, each shared moment, each spark of wonder. In 2015, the world saw continued advancements in technology, an ever-growing reliance on digital payments, and a culture shifting faster than ever before. But even amidst the transformation of how people interacted with money, one item remained quietly circulating through hands, pockets, and cash registers across America: the humble 1-cent penny. That year, the Denver Mint produced a coin that might have seemed ordinary to the average person, but to collectors, the 2015D Lincoln penny became another chapter in the evolving story of U.S. coinage, sparking curiosity, collecting enthusiasm, and even financial surprise for those who knew what to look for. The obverse of the 2015D penny, as always, showcased the stoic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a familiar face on American currency since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's portrait had become an enduring icon, etched into the consciousness of generations. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 2015 framed his face, and below the shoulder, just visible under the right light, the telltale VDB initials paid tribute to Brenner himself. On the reverse, the Union Shield design, introduced in 2010, replaced the Lincoln Memorial after more than 5 decades. This shield, with its 13 stripes and horizontal bar at the top, symbolized unity among the original colonies and the federal government. The large, prominent 1 cent struck across the shield gave the coin a bold presence, and nestled above it, the words "United States of America" affirmed the penny's identity. The motto "E Pluribus Unum" curved above the bar, offering a message of strength through unity, timeless, yet especially poignant in modern America. What made the 2015D penny particularly compelling to numismatists wasn't just the design. It was the potential hidden within the over 4.5 billion coins struck at the Denver Mint that year. Within that sea of copper-plated zinc lay a hidden universe, coins with mint errors, high-grade strikes, and rare die varieties that transformed a common coin into a collector's prize. Some of the most desirable 2015D pennies included double die obverse, where slight shifts in the die during the hubbing process created doubling in the date, Liberty, or Lincoln's features. Others included off-center strikes, broad strikes without a collar, and coins with die chips, small metal blobs usually appearing near Lincoln's mouth or coat. One particularly rare find involved a 2015D penny struck on a planchet meant for a dime, resulting in a noticeably smaller, silver-toned cent that instantly turned heads. High-grade uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-68 or higher, drew even more attention. While billions were minted, few escaped the rough realities of production and circulation. From being bagged and rolled in massive quantities to being jostled in vending machines, very few 2015D pennies retained flawless surfaces. When one did, it became a star. A single MS-69 RD coin could command prices in the hundreds, with pristine luster, sharp details, and zero visible contact marks. As online marketplaces exploded and coin collecting communities grew on social platforms like YouTube, Reddit, and Instagram, the 2015D penny began getting more screen time. Videos titled "2015 Penny Worth $1,000" and "Check Your Change, Rare Modern Pennies" racked up views, bringing a new generation into the hobby. Young collectors were suddenly hunting for treasure in their own pockets, guided by viral shorts and in-depth grading tutorials. In one such case, a high school student in Kansas found a near-perfect 2015D penny in a lunchroom vending machine. With guidance from an online forum, he submitted it to PCGS for grading, receiving an MS69RD grade. The coin later sold at auction for over $1,800, funding the student's first year of community college. The coin's accessibility became part of its charm. Unlike many rare coins that require deep pockets to obtain, the 2015 D penny could be discovered in everyday transactions. Bank rolls, grocery store change, and even old piggy banks became fertile hunting grounds. Enthusiasts encouraged each other to look closely, use magnifiers, and learn the small details that separated the ordinary from the exceptional, and it wasn't just individuals who were drawn to the 2015 D. Dealers began building sets centered around modern shield pennies, identifying and certifying the best specimens from each year and mint. The 2015 D gained a reputation as a standout year for Denver minting quality, with fewer weak strikes and more consistent die alignment compared to earlier years. The culture around this coin grew into something larger. At coin shows, the 2015 D was often included in modern mint-era displays, with full explanations of how certain mistakes occurred and why they mattered. Panels and podcasts began including it in discussions of affordable entry points for new collectors. One compelling trend involved artists using high-grade modern coins as the basis for jewelry and framed displays. The 2015 D penny, with its brilliant red copper tone, often became the centerpiece in custom keychains, rings, or shadowboxes meant to preserve a moment in monetary and artistic history. It reminded people that beauty and value could come in the most unassuming forms. While the market value of any coin fluctuates with trends, rarity, and condition, the 2015 D penny proves that even the most common-looking object can carry hidden worth. Whether through mint error, exceptional preservation, or simple historical curiosity, it continues to find new life among collectors, and in the end, isn't that the story of the penny itself? A coin too often overlooked, but filled with stories waiting to be told. The 2015 D Lincoln Shield penny is one such story. A whisper of history. A glint of possibility. A reminder that even in the world of high finance and high tech, there's still room for something small to make a big impact, because in a world where billions are minted, it only takes one to make all the difference. As the collecting community continued to thrive, new technologies emerged to help identify the finest 2015 D pennies. Mobile apps equipped with AI-driven image recognition began allowing collectors to scan their coins and instantly compare them with verified high-grade or error coins. These digital tools, along with updated population reports from PCGS and NGC, made it easier than ever to understand the rarity and potential value of coins that once went unnoticed in pockets or drawers. Coin dealers began releasing annual modern cent guides, highlighting coins like the 2015 D not just for their investment potential, but for the stories behind them. Pages were dedicated to variations in strike, die state, and error classification, while anecdotes from collectors who stumbled upon these treasures added a human element to the technical data. One man from Nevada shared a story of discovering a roll of uncirculated 2015 D pennies in his late uncle's garage. Curious, he sent 10 of them to be graded. 3 came back MS68RD, and 1 was designated MS69RD with a rare reverse die gouge. The find netted him more than $4,000, but he kept one of the MS68s as a memory of his uncle's quiet habit of saving change. It became more than just a coin, it was a story, a legacy, a connection to the past preserved in copper and zinc. Collectors now seek out entire rolls of 2015 D pennies in hopes of replicating such luck. The thrill lies not only in the discovery, but in the journey, the act of slowing down, paying attention, and finding value where others see none. It's a mindfulness practice hidden within a numismatic hobby. At national coin conventions, the 2015 D continues to gain attention in panel discussions about modern mintage quality and hidden gems in recent coinage. Exhibits showcase dramatic error coins beside pristine high-grade examples, educating the public on what to look for and why it matters. Children gather at booths with magnifying glasses, learning to identify die breaks and spotting that slight shimmer of red luster that hints at an uncirculated gem. And every now and then, someone pulls a penny from their pocket, flips it over, and takes a closer look, because the legend of the 2015 D penny is still being written, one discovery at a time. In recent years, mainstream media has started picking up the story as well. News outlets began featuring segments about hidden coin treasures, sometimes focusing specifically on shield cents like the 2015 D. One story covered a janitor in Michigan who collected coins from vending machines over the years, eventually finding a pristine 2015 D with a noticeable die clash that experts valued at nearly $2,500. The news segment went viral, adding further fuel to the growing popularity of coin hunting. Schools began adopting coin collecting projects as part of their history and economics lessons. Teachers used examples like the 2015 D penny to explain how minting works, how errors occur, and how something as small as a cent can carry both economic and educational value. Students brought in jars of coins from home, sorting through them together and discovering both rare and everyday coins, creating tangible learning moments in classrooms across the country. The momentum didn't stop there. Some tech-savvy entrepreneurs created online platforms where users could share photos of their 2015 D finds, trade duplicates, and crowdsource verification of possible errors. It became an interactive game, one where knowledge, patience, and community blended to create something far greater than the sum of a single coin. And as we continue through the digital age, the 2015 D penny is not being left behind. Instead, it's finding new relevance, inspiring fresh curiosity, and connecting people across generations.